race fans? Welcome to the third race of the NNSCRA F1 series live from Shanghai, China, getting set for the Shanghai Grand Prix. As you can see, Luke Walker is on the front row, followed by Richard Johnson to his right side. And then we have Amir Hamad and Max Skinner, the two Renaults, starting right beside each other, right behind them. I'm trying not to have that sign in the way. There we go. I guess that's the best view we're going to get. Funny story between these two. Amir Hamad got points last week. He got 2 of them to be exact. But it was Max Skinner's home race, so Amir Hamad gave the 2 points to his teammate Max Skinner. So points swap has been made between Amir Hamad and Max Skinner. Max Skinner now has 2 points and Amir Hamad has none. Sandra Tahari and William Duncan will start behind them. Richard Johnson III and Barney Ward. Alina Lopez and Seth Cole. Rachel Williams and Dylan Young. Justin Perry and Soran Tahari. Alexander Dawson and John Dawson. Michael Dawson and Dion Scott, our Suzuka winner. Wayne Scott. Pichu Walker. Samantha Oscon, who won last weekend, still starting quite a ways back here. Servan Surian, Richard Johnson III, and Aaron Williams to round out the field. Now, we got to watch out for these two, Samantha Oscon and Aaron Williams. We got to watch out for those two because they've developed a bit of a rivalry between each other for some reasons that Aaron Williams would like if I were not to say anything too much, because I'm pretty sure about all of you know, but I'll just say it. Samantha Oscon's been making some appeals in the comment section on some of his, I believe it's the PORWC races, and Aaron Williams does not find them very nice, and so let's just say they've developed a rivalry in every series that they race in, especially this one and my other one on the NCGM Runners Folklore World Cup series. They've developed a big rivalry in that one. By the way, you're probably wondering as we'll get these cars rolling, you'll probably be wondering why the Folklore World Cup series has a race at Silverstone hasn't been posted yet. Well, it was kind of my fault. I was recording the race and I went the entire race, and at the end of the race I realized that I forgot to turn on my microphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it all down into a recap mode race, and I will post it after this one is posted. Probably either Monday evening or Tuesday by the time it is posted. Luke Walker, second in the points in that series, starting here in the front row. We're going to follow Luke Walker as they'll come around, and the green flag is out. Something happened to Richard Johnson. He was out in the dirt when the green flag flew. Luke Walker gets a big jump on everyone else, and Amir Hamad follows. Here at China. See if we can get some better camera angle. There's a big wide camera angle. There we go. Back here we got battling going on between actually it's between Barney Ward and Alina Lopez. Lopez wants the position away from Barney Ward. And up here, battle on for position, William Duncan and Richard Johnson III. William Duncan has not received points yet in any race, but he'd like to get some points here today. Doesn't look like it'll be too long before he gets points if he keeps running the way he's running. Alina Lopez gets around Barney Ward, and his teammate Alexander Dawson trying to get by Ward now. Alexander Dawson started out in the 16th position, It's worked its way up into, I believe, the 11th or the 10th. So on the restart, on the start alone, he picked up a good handful of spots. You see Seth Cole settling in line, Dion Scott settling in line, Rachel Williams trying to go around Dion Scott, sister to Aaron Williams. Whoa, buddy! You got a car in the dirt. That was Dylan Young. Took a kind of a spill down in the dirt. Speaking of Aaron Williams, oh, there's Aaron Williams. He's picked up a lot of spots on the start. He somehow got ahead of Cement Ozcon. There's Ozcon right there. So Aaron Williams doing really well today. He's in front of his rival and hopes that's where he'll be at the end of the races. Luke Walker will come down to lead the first lap. Lap 1 of 11 on the boards. Takes a long time to get around this track. It's not that long of a track, it's just not very fast. Track here they have in Shanghai. Mir Hamad is now kind of looked like he was going under fire from Richard Johnson. Sandra Dahari has gotten around Max Skinner. Max Skinner having a much better race than he had last weekend at Riverside. Last weekend he ended up having a huge problem with his engine. At the beginning of the race, he never completed one lap under green before he got the engine fixed. I believe he went 3 laps down to the leaders, but he's here today trying to redeem himself. And that number 12 Reynolds car. Richard Johnson III, the second of the Virgin Mobile cars, running really good here today. And that number 25 car. Surprisingly, these cars have numbers, they're just hard to find. As everyone seals in, let's see who the biggest mover was. Alexander Dawson was one of the biggest movers, moving from 16th to 10th. Picked up 6 spots on the start alone, and he's in the dirt right now. Here comes Seth Cole, wanting the 10th position away from Alexander Dawson. Go down this long front stretch that we have here. I mean back stretch. I call it a back stretch. It's not really the back stretch. It's just this really long stretch. And they're looking like they're doing really good here today. Some of these drivers gotta watch out for is something like that. Looked like Dion Scott was almost gonna plow right into him. It might have just been my imagination, but looked like he had a run and he just didn't have anywhere to go with it. Dion Scott's one of our designated onboard camera cars that we have. In fact, let's ride on board with Dion Scott. Let's ride on board with the 10. One of the drivers that we have is a designated onboard car driver, and he's doing really good. Although he's got to pick up 2 positions if he wants to get any points today. He didn't get any points last week, and he doesn't look like he might not get points today unless he can do something real catastrophic to get up. You know, we have a pit stop that we may have to go through if these cars can't make it all the way on fuel. So we'll have to see how that plays out. As Luke Walker's just pulling away from everyone. He's got a real fast car here today. You know, the McLarens are better at these kind of tracks, especially with that long stretch that we have here. You can really get up to speed. The Reynolds qualified really good for this race. Being a lower funded team, they brought some really good equipment here today. And Richard Johnson in the Ferrari back here. You know, Ferrari has been really good this season so far. Cement Ozcon won last week, and if Richard Johnson plays his cards right, Ferrari just might get a second win. Will we end under caution like we did last week? We haven't finished the race under green since the season began. They've all ended under caution. They're just going through the field. Let's go find where Aaron Williams is running at. Well, where is Aaron Williams? There's Cement Oscon. Aaron Williams is now last place on the track right now. Aaron Williams has fallen back to last place. You know what? He might have already pitted. Yeah, he must have pitted. Something happened to Aaron Williams. Because they're on the front stretch right now. And Aaron Williams is, oh yeah, Aaron Williams is way back here. What happened to Aaron Williams? Let's go back and take a look. Maybe he pitted. Okay, this was on the very first lap of the race, and he does make a pit stop. He made a pit stop on the very first lap of the race. As you can see, this is a replay of what happened to Aaron Williams. As you can see, he's going down pit road. Now, I don't know what he came down pit road for. All I know is that he came down pit road. It looks like that maybe they were trying to fix something, or maybe they were filling it up with fuel. So, Aaron Williams pits on lap number 1. Maybe some strategy. Maybe he thinks that if he pits now, he can make it all the way. But that's what Aaron Williams is so far behind for. Let's go back up to the front. We're back. And Luke Walker still leads. Aaron Williams, of course, making that unscheduled stop on lap number 1, and he puts all the way back here. Maybe it will work out to his, maybe it will work to his liking, as maybe he can make it all the way now. You never know. Maybe he knew something that we didn't know. Well, we'll figure out what happens. Luke Walker, however, is just pacing this field. As Richard Johnson has went way wide. I don't know what that was all about, but just one of the more mellower races we have. It's not like Riverside. Everyone was pretty on top of Riverside. They knew that Riverside is a big race, and they wanted to all win it. But here at Shanghai, really an unknown, and we had rain before the race started yesterday during qualifying and in the final practice, and the rain has made the track real slick, and it's still a little bit wet. We do have sunlight today, but it's still a little bit wet, so these drivers are kind of slipping and sliding around on this track, so they'll have to watch out, or maybe spin out of control. They have a weird pit entrance to this track as well. You go out straight before you make that last corner, and then you turn in, as you saw in the replay with Aaron Williams. Sometimes he'll go out in the dirt, sometimes he won't, but if all these cars come down at once, it'll be really interesting to see who gets off of pit road first, and who can get on it without any problem. Luke Walker's got a rear view camera, so let's go right on board with Luke Walker. From the back of Luke Walker's car, you can see way back there is Amir Hamad. Now Amir Hamad, he gave his 2 points to his teammate Max Skinner. He just might get a lot of points today, though. He's doing real good today. Maybe giving Max Skinner 2 points was not such a bad thing in Amir's case, because right now he's running second, so he would get 9 points. It's better than 2 points. And Amir Hamad would have a grand total of, I believe, 8 points. 1 point behind Amir Hamad. So maybe this really worked out in these guys' favor, as Max Skinner and Amir Hamad will both have 9 and 8 points, which will be really good for the team's morale, and it will be really good in the fact that they can work together more often, and maybe if they split their points in between themselves, they could end up with a real big reward at the end of the season. Richard Johnson kind of looked like he was smoking the brakes coming in, trying to catch Amir. And Luke Walker pits. But Richard Johnson does not. Luke Walker's in pit road, so is Amir Hamad, Sandrin Tahari, Max Skinner, Richard Johnson III, William Duncan, Alina Lopez, Barney Ward, Alexander Dawson, Seth Cole, Dion Scott, Rachel Williams, Saran Tahari, John Dawson, Michael Dawson, and Wayne Scott. Pichu Walker, Richard Johnson Jr. stays out. And Aaron Williams, of course, is on track. As they're pitting, Richard Johnson takes the lead. Servan Sarian is out. Cement Ozcon stays out. Richard Johnson Jr. stays out. So 4 cars not pitting this time by. They're going to try and stretch it. Now, is Aaron Williams going to catch up to these guys before they can get out of pit road? I don't know. Where is he in related to Aaron Williams? These guys extended stops, making sure it's packed with fuel. They have to stay on pit road and make sure it's packed with fuel. This is what's going on. It's not problems with the car's pit stops. It's just trying to get the cars full of gas. And as you can see, there they go. And a lot of them going out now as Luke Walker has made his way back onto the track. But Richard Johnson is still leading the race. Both Ferraris stayed out, which is real interesting. All the other drivers that stayed out, their counterparts went in, but both Ferraris stayed out. So maybe the Ferrari's gas mileage is extremely well. Richard Johnson is still out on the track, and so is Cement Ozcon. And they've both been running real hard. Or maybe they haven't, and their cars are just that much better that they don't have to push the issue. Of course, Richard Johnson is going to come down pit road this time. What about Servan Sarian? He was way behind Richard Johnson. As you can see, he's not even down to the hairpin yet. Now he's entering the hairpin. Just shows you how far ahead these guys were really from each other. And now Servan Sarian is going to go in. Cement Ozcon and Richard Johnson Jr. are now in. Let's follow Servan Sarian. And as you can see, Aaron Williams is back on pit road. So maybe there is a problem with the 20. Richard Johnson is in. Cement Ozcon and Richard Johnson Jr. They're all in. Now where is Luke Walker? There's Luke Walker. He is now entering the final hairpin before the last turn. There's the entrance to pit road where the pace car is at. There's the last turn. Is Richard Johnson leaving yet? No, Richard Johnson is still in. Here comes Walker down the front stretch. And there goes Richard Johnson. Let's watch. See who gets the advantage. Give the advantage to Richard Johnson. He pulls ahead. He just got out of pit road before Luke Walker did. Great timing, great timing. He stays out the extra lap and Richard Johnson goes in front. Ferrari leading the race. You know, maybe Ferrari was going to get their second win this season. You never know. Ferrari won last week in the form of Cement Ozcon. Maybe they'll get their second win here today in the form of Richard Johnson. Amir Hamad has come out third. Sandrin Sarian is in fourth. Richard Johnson the third is in fifth. Max Skinner in sixth. Alina Lopez in seventh. His teammate Alexander Dawson in eighth. Dion Scott ninth. He's going to get points if he continues this run. And Dylan Young will make his way into 10th. Saran Tahari, Servan Sarian, Barney Ward, John Dawson, Michael Dawson, Wayne Scott, Cement Ozcon, Richard Johnson Jr., Pichu Walker, William Duncan, Rachel Williams, Justin Perry, Seth Cole, and Seth Cole's just not having a good run. He must have had a hard time getting out of his pit box. and Aaron Williams is still on pit road. Something is definitely gone amiss on that car. There is some good news to this, though. There is some good news for Aaron Williams in the form of his rivalry between him and Cement Ozcon. It's that Cement Ozcon's not leading the race. In fact, it is his teammate, Richard Johnson, which apparently he has no problem with. He doesn't hate the Ferrari team, he just doesn't like Cement Ozcon. And if Cement Ozcon continues to run the way he's been running, he's not going to get any points. So a little bit of redemption for Aaron Williams, knowing that neither him nor Cement Ozcon is going to get points. But I don't think the HRT guys are going to like it that Ferrari is going to get 2 wins in a row. And the only other team so far to get a win, this is just saying if Richard Johnson doesn't win the race. If that's the case, then the only other team that's gotten a win, I know we're only 3 races in, but the only other team that's gotten a win so far is Williams. That's right, the Williams car is the only other car that's gotten a win. So if Richard Johnson were to win this race, that means Ferrari has won with both of their cars, not just one of them. Plus the amazing fuel strategy. Both Ferraris were able to go the distance of 1 extra lap. Now, what makes that so incredible is that the other 2 that stayed out, being I believe Richard Johnson Jr. and who's the other one that stayed out with them? Dion Scott, I believe, is the second one that stayed out, as Luke Walker went in the grass, and here comes Amir Hamad. Luke Walker looks like he locked up the brakes going into that turn, and Amir Hamad goes by. But their teammates with they pitted they pitted 1 lap earlier with most of the field, but both Ferraris stayed out. And it baffles me that both Ferraris were able to stay out and go the distance that they did, and they didn't lose any speed. There must be an advantage in the Ferrari stables that maybe not everyone else has. Maybe the Ferraris are just that much better. Just never know with F1, but... Oh, caution is waving. You gotta be kidding me, the caution is waving. Is this race gonna end under caution like it did last week? You have got to be kidding me. What are we under the caution for is the question. Oh no, Pichu Walker and Wayne Scott are on pit road. Maybe some contact between these 2 cars. But the caution is waving on lap number 10 of 11. What are the odds that every race so far that we've had is going to end under caution after a long green flag run? Now that is strange, and Ferrari has been leading at both those occasions. But what if we do go back under green? What is that going to spell for Richard Johnson? Maybe Amir Hamad will get a better restart than he will. So let's go find out what happened to Wayne Scott and Pichu Walker. We're going to find out that Pichu Walker was on pit road because of a tire going down. But this is why we're under the caution. Boom! Wayne Scott's engine goes. The Lotus just couldn't make it. And he stops on the track. Spills oil everywhere. That's why we're under the caution. Pichu Walker on pit road because of a tire going down. But Wayne Scott's engine erupts. That's what puts us under the caution. Let's go see if they'll put these cars under green or if we'll finish the race under caution like we did the past 2 races. Well, we're on the long back stretch for the final time on lap 11, and as you can see, the pace lights are still on, which means that this race will end under caution with Richard Johnson going to victory lane. Ferrari goes 1-2, winning at Riverside and Shanghai in 2 weeks in a row. My goodness, those Ferraris have really got something good going. Second place will be Amir Hamad. Then we have Luke Walker in third. Fifth will be Sandrin Tahari, and Richard Johnson III will finish fifth. But Richard Johnson the first will win this race. Come across the line for the final time. Congratulations to Richard Johnson. He wins the Shanghai Grand Prix here in China. What a good celebration that there must be having in the Ferrari stable. Can you imagine? This is just incredible, the Ferrari's dominance. Winning the last two races. And all three of our races so far have all ended under caution. This one is no exception. Let's go take a look at your full field rundown and who finished where. Richard Johnson, Amir Hamad, Luke Walker, Sandrin Tahari, and Richard Johnson III are the top 5. The top 6 are the top 10 are Max Skinner, Alina Lopez, Alexander Dawson. Both Toro Rossos finished good today. Dion Scott, Dylan Young make up the top 10. 11th will be Soran Tahari. 12th, Servan Sarian. 13th, Barney Ward. John Dawson and Michael Dawson make up the top 15. Samantha Oscon, Richard Johnson Jr., William Duncan, Rachel Williams, Justin Perry make up the top 20. Seth Cole, not a very good run. 21st, Peachy Walker that had tire problems. He goes 2 laps down. Wayne Scott had a valve go on him. That's what caused his engine to erupt, which brought out the caution. And Aaron Williams had something wrong with his car, as every car must have for a good storyline, apparently, in the 24th position. Now, as for him and his rival, yes, Semenoscon finished in front of him, but neither of them get points. So, yeah. Well, congratulations to Richard Johnson and Ferrari for 2 consecutive wins. Will they win the next round, which is in Bahrain, a track very similar to this one? We shall see. Thank you for watching. I'm Anthony McCurry for the NNSCRA and the NCGMRS, which are merged, by the way. Thank you for watching. See you next time.